Welcome back to the show. Don't forget, we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our official website, thestephenknightshow.com. Also, check us out on YouTube. Comment, subscribe, and like. We definitely appreciate you. All right, so there was an exhibit created in Union Square in New York City. It was recently unveiled for the world to see. It was 3 bronze statues honoring the lives of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and John Lewis, who all passed last year, and they were placed in that area. And while the statues initially received praise, it seems like others weren't here for the touching tribute. According to photos taken on Sunday, the George Floyd artwork was vandalized. The Shade Room spoke with an artist who works with the Comfort Art, the organization that in charge of the exposition. And according to Denny, that's the person, this wasn't the first time the statue had been vandalized. The sculpture also was defaced with black paint in Brooklyn earlier this year. This time, George Floyd's bust was covered with gray paint. Now, there was a surveillance camera that caught the guy doing it. And he did it like at 10 o'clock in the morning, broad daylight. He was on a skateboard. He threw the paint and kept going. And there were people there watching him because I saw the video. But this is all according to ABC 7 New York. Now, and police are searching for this person. And they supposedly have already fixed the statue. But I find it interesting because when I saw the statue on Friday, I believe, it was on morning. It used to be CBS's morning, but now it's called CBS Mornings. I saw it on their Instagram page, and the majority of the comments were very negative. So some were negative to all of them. Most of them were negative to George Floyd, calling him a felon. So we're honoring felons, and I was just kind of like, okay, Nayyir. First of all, are you shocked that this is happening? And now, mind you, the statues will be moving. They're going to be going to different cities so people can see it. But this is just a temporary place till October 30th. But are you shocked that this is happening?
Absolutely not. How you saw those statues and felt what you felt when I saw them, I knew that is exactly what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. At this point, I think, this is not the time. It's never really been the time for any type of statues of any of these types of figures on either side. I think it's not the time. People are going to deface them. They're going to just try to destroy them. I think that money's better used, or those efforts are better used in putting actual funds together or things that are really going to be conducive to the cause or the causes behind each of those figures. So the artists could have got together and rallied up into done some types of fundraisers or ongoing fundraisers. I think the money's better spent in other ways. Statues will be defaced over and over again, and they're going to take money to fix over and over again. It's pointless at this point in time. I think they should look at ways to put money into different efforts and figure out more creative ways that are off limits to, this type of destruction or this easy access to vandalism. Look for those types of ways where they really want to honor these individuals with art. I knew it was going to happen.
And they actually are going to eventually sell those, auction them off, and they're going to donate the money to the charities. But I get what you mean, the upkeep of having
that happens.
Yeah. Chike, what are your thoughts on this?
So I agree with Nayyir. I think that maybe they should not have been displayed in public. Maybe they shouldn't have been displayed at all. Maybe they should have been a mystery and they should have been talked about, and more hype should have been brought about around them. And then they should have been placed in some type of museum and made them a private exhibit. That way you would have generated a buzz about it, and then people would have paid a price to go see them, and then that money would have been contributed to the cause or a cause.
And no one's gonna pay to go in and vandalize. They will, but that's gonna be a really determined person,
Right.
It's interesting now you talk about the statues. One of the comments I read said, "Why are we doing this? We already took down the Confederate statues. Why are we adding these?" Which I don't see how you compare those, but it's interesting when you talk about statues.
Yeah, it's not the same thing, but just statues, we know what's going to happen. I mean, I just knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then even with those statues, with all the Confederacy stuff and all that, I think that they need to create a museum and put all of those things inside. And the people that gravitate toward that type of stuff can go to the museum and do their thing that they do when they do what they do and make America great again inside that building with the things that they like.
Even better, some Black organizations could have bought those statues up and nobody would have known and put them on display, like Chike said, in private museums and all that money that comes in. Yeah, so Chike, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Lynia, what are your thoughts on all this?
We celebrate Columbus every year, and he was a super murderer. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. They had already defaced a mural that was done for George Floyd. So this whole defacing thing is a part of the schematic when it comes to that. So you would, it would be better to go ahead and create some legislation, some laws, relating to, the situations involving police brutality and stuff like that, and making sure that these cops are held accountable, and, you can't get a job again as a cop. Once you've done something of this magnitude, you shouldn't be allowed to ever work in, that type of field again, like stuff like that.
No, I agree. All right, well, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley.
I just wanted to add, where I live, Lynia and I live close to Philadelphia, and they have Independence Mall where the Liberty Bell is held. Do you know that you can get arrested just for walking on the grass down there? Like if you walk like across the grass, you can be arrested. Can you imagine if I tried to do something to the Liberty Bell or try to do something to the Constitution?
That's what I'm saying. And it's like
you ain't never had nobody try to deface the Liberty Bell.
Never.
Yeah, and there are some places like that in Washington, D.C. as well, where you cannot enter this and let alone try to vandalize it. You definitely can't even.
That's the whole issue with the insurrection. You know what I mean? That was one of those lands.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was.
Yeah. Was past tense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, she is not just representing her congressional district of Massachusetts, but also 7 million people who live with alopecia in this country. Now, that's why the state rep is fighting for Medicare to cover wigs. She said, I know what it's like to experience a transformation not of your own choosing. She lives with alopecia, which is the autoimmune disease that causes hair loss. She says, when you feel like your body is betraying you and you feel less like yourself, that's already challenging. But to be bald as a woman really does disrupt conventional and societal norms of what is appropriate, what is professional, what is attractive, and what is feminine. It's so much more than cosmetic. It takes a real toll. Now, she reintroduced the bill last Thursday, along with fellow Massachusetts Rep. James McGovern. Now, apparently his daughter, she is 20 years old and she suffers a rare cancer. And, she's had to lose her hair, fighting, dealing with the treatment. But he was saying that he knows that there have been a lot of women who have refused life-saving cancer treatment because they're afraid they're going to lose their hair. And so they think this will be a way to combat that. And also just to give that, that boost of morale while you're battling cancer and dealing with the ramifications if you get hair loss. Lynia, I know you were talking about this, about the wigs and whatnot. Do you think this is a good idea?
I think that it's an amazing idea and a moment of transparency for me. I was diagnosed with traction alopecia a few years ago. Chike knows that I deal with this, and I joke about it, to be able to deal with it. And I call it my perimeter, because for me, it's around the sides and in the back. I have a head full of hair, but around the sides and in the back, my perimeter is my issue, and it left me in a self-conscious state, and I'm still somewhat self-conscious about it. And I've tried different things. I've gone to dermatologists. I've had it's called like micro needling treatments, which are not exciting to get. It's kind of like, the end of a tattoo gun, like, going, against my scalp, but, just trying different things. So I'm still somewhat self-conscious about it. But, like I said, I joke with him about it to, it brings me you know, to be able to deal with it better than what I was. Because before I cut my hair, I didn't do the bald thing, but I did cut it short to see if it would help. And then me cutting my hair, I was, oh Jesus, help me. Now I really look like a boy. I was going through it. I went through it, but you know, it definitely is. I think it's important, especially for those who are severely affected by it. Again, I can do different things to maneuver, and you really, like, you couldn't really tell, but I didn't tell you that this was a wig. You know what I mean? So, and if I take it off and you be like, you got a head full of hair, but my perimeter is bald, man. Yeah. But it's not, you know, so.
They were saying for a lot of low income families buying wigs, you know, wigs are expensive. So being able to buy those for anyone being impacted by this is not always a cost effective suggestion.
Yep.
Chike, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. You know, let's because it's a medical issue. But my concern, I totally agree with Lynia. But you know, the other side of me thinks about, you know, these women that use, you know, and Lynia, I speak about this all the time. Women that use, you know, hair and wigs as, you know, a starter cap. You know, they just put it on and go out the door. And I could see them trying to finagle to get the government to buy their wigs for them. I can see that happening, you know, because, okay, I want to go to the store. Let's try this hat on today. Let's try this furry hat on today. I can see it happening.
Yeah.
And then it makes it tarnishes what it was, what the movement is, or what it was meant to do.
Yeah. So they have to find some kind of regulate it, you know, so people aren't taking advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for sharing that story. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Most definitely. Yeah.
And I know my mother, when she had cancer, you know, my mother's always had real long hair. And, you know, when she battled cancer the second time, that's when her hair was falling out. She had to cut it off. And that was her first time wearing wigs, you know what I mean? And what she did, she decided to make, you know, do hairstyles she would have never done, you know, play with it, you know what I mean? I will tell one quick story real quick. One day I was home visiting her, and she was telling me that, because she never wore wigs, so she didn't know how to tighten it up and all that stuff. And she said one day she was at home and she swung her hair back and the whole wig fell off. She said, I'm so glad I was at home.
It happens.
Nayyir, what do you think about this bill?
I'm on board with the team. I mean, yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I never thought about that. You know, it's so many things we take for granted and don't think about until someone presents a question like this or a story like this, and it's amazing, a wonderful thing. You know, and it might open doors for other possibilities for hair loss and other individuals who face, you know, other types of what are these called?
Autoimmune issues.
Autoimmune issues, but challenges in general with their physical appearance. You know, there are people who have all types of, you know, afflictions. So it'll definitely continue to open the door and continue to open my eyes for ways that I can help, support, learn, whatever.
Right.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, our last story. So justice has been served. So there was a beach that was created in California back in 1912 by a Black couple, and it was just for Black people. But over a decade ago, not a decade, I'm sorry, over 100 years ago, white people came and took the land just because Black people were there. And so now the property value has gone up. This is talking about generational wealth, has gone up so increasingly there. And it's a predominantly white owned town, beach now, and 1% Black people there. Well, the Governor Newsome, he signed a bill, Bill 796, deciding to right a wrong. The bill, which was passed anonymously, this month in the state legislature, includes an urgency clause that will allow Los Angeles County, which currently owns the property, to begin the process of transferring the land immediately. Now, the legislation declares that the land in the city of Manhattan Beach, which was wrongfully taken from Willa and Charles Bruce, should be returned to their living descendants and its public interest of the state of California. Now, Newsom also said that he really believes that this can be a catalyst, not only for other areas to do things like this, but also for reparations. So everyone's congratulating the Bruce family for getting their land back. Chike, what do you think?
Is this why they wanted him out of office?
Probably.
Is this why they? I'm because I was wondering why they wanted him out of office, and they were coming up with this special thing to get him out and put this Republican in. And I do believe that this is it. When you start messing with land in this country, these people lose their mind. They do not want us to own jack. Good for you, Governor Newsome. Good for everyone involved. Good for the people that are the landowners. Good for the family. Good for everybody that's going to profit off this move. I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Nayyir.
Yeah, I remember this story. Amazing. A good start. Long way to go, but definitely a good start for that family for sure. I mean, it's a beach. You know, who owns a beach? I don't know anyone who owns a beach, other than the vicinity, the state or the city or whatever. But that's just an amazing thing that they're going to get that property back in their family. And hopefully they are able to do something great with it. Something great, And
you think about on the beach, charge, you can, get restaurants and things like that, get so much money back, hopefully, and well deserved his family, and hopefully they'll do something good with it. You know what I mean? Lynia, what do you think? What are your thoughts on justice being served for this family?
So I think that it's amazing. And having gone to LA last year, I had the opportunity to go to Manhattan Beach, which is a thriving beach area. Yeah. They have $1 million plus beach homes down. Like we were walking and these houses were amazing. It's a whole situation. Manhattan Beach is a whole town.
So what happens? So how does this work with that?
That's a good question. This had to have started a while ago, but as to what Chike was saying, when they wanted to do this special, they called it something, not inquiry, but special election to try to get him out. It was a recall. They wanted to do a special recall. So you had your token, who was Larry Elder. Then you had Caitlyn Kardashian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those
like 46 people running.
Yeah, but this had been in the works. We're just hearing about it, but this had been in the works. This is one of the things that was on the books. Yeah. And that's why they held that. They wanted to do that special recall to try to get. That's one of the reasons. Of course, they don't like him. You know what I mean? Because he's very progressive. Like he's, I've always heard good things about this particular governor for California.
Yeah.
But the area is beautiful. We went to an amazing restaurant out there. I would hope it continues to thrive under what it was originally for. Yeah. When it comes to the people that they took it from, because it's a beautiful area. If I could afford it, I would get a house out there on that beach. Yeah. Because that's how, these houses are amazing. Yeah. The area is beautiful.
Well, I'm glad right was wrong, wrong was right. Listen, I want to thank you all for our topics. When we come back, we have our discussion panel with the fitness experts, so stay tuned. And Nayyir and Lynia, thank you as always.
Thank you.
All right back after this.